So, the first day I was spiraling about for a week in the last video, it went unbelievably well. And not in like some rom com, everything was perfect kind of way, but like in a real way. I did what I said and I was upfront, honest, and vulnerable. I was a messy person, I was human, and I was imperfect, and it still worked out. And I think that's why it mattered so much. But let's start at the part where I almost ruined it immediately. We had a simple plan: 7 to 8 p.m. at night, ice cream spot, and then head to the speakeasy bar that my sister and her boyfriend invited us to for a double date. It was low pressure, easy, except I went to the wrong location, the complete wrong place. The right establishment, but the wrong street and, side of the city. And I didn't realize it until I was pulling up to the spot thinking, this is definitely not the right place. The funny part is, I could have gotten to the place without the maps, but I used maps anyway and still somehow went to the wrong spot. So I'm sitting there just texting her, blowing up her phone, apologizing. I'm like, oh my fuck, I'm so sorry. I'm so dumb. This is so embarrassing. And I was just spiraling everywhere. And, because I haven't been on a real first date in over 2 years. And I was like, this is how I re enter the dating scene by being 10 minutes late to my own date. The worst part is I picked it. I picked the spot. I picked the establishment. I picked the road. I picked the spot. And I was 10 minutes late. But here's what surprised me is that she was just completely fine with it. She was like, okay, no rush. You can, take your time. Don't speed, stuff like that. No weird tone. No passive aggressive energy at all. Just like I'll see you soon. And that instantly calmed me down. So we finally meet. The nerves are still there. My heart is racing. Like I can feel it in my chest just while I'm walking. But it was weird because it wasn't overwhelming. Like I get really bad anxiety, and for some reason it was a little bit dulled down for this interaction. I brought her a few small gifts, just some like thoughtful stuff. Um, like I brought her like a little thing of flowers, but it was like flowers that were chocolates because we were gonna be out in our cars in the cold, and I didn't want like real flowers to die, so I got her these like different versions of flowers. And then I got her this other little inside joke that we had. And she brought me this like Costa Rican like coconut sugar ball thing. Like sugar balls. I hate coconut. So I'm not gonna lie. It was not my favorite thing ever. And the fact that I hated coconut so much and she didn't know because, it was just supposed to be a surprise. I was trying them out and we were just laughing because I just hated them. Like I would put it in my mouth and I was like, oh yeah, it's not that bad. Kept chewing. It just got worse and worse as I kept chewing. And it was just like, it was a cute little moment. But that moment wasn't about whether I liked it. It was about the effort. It was about her sharing something from her culture with me, and it broke that barrier immediately. And so here's where the night started shifting. We were supposed to stay at the ice cream spot for an hour. We stayed 3, from 7 to 10, 10:30-ish. Just sitting there talking, no phones, no awkward silence. It was just conversation for 3 hours. And then somewhere in those 3 hours, it got a lot deeper. And this is where I need to be honest. My friends told me not to do this. They were like, do not trauma dump on the first date. And I get why. It can be heavy stuff and it can scare people off. But here's the thing about me: I come with a lot of baggage from probably what you can tell from my videos. And I've always had lingering emotions, untapped stuff, and a complicated past. I hate hiding it because I feel like if I'm going to pursue something real with someone, I'd rather be upfront about who I actually am. So I trauma dumped a little, not in a here's my entire life story in one breath way, but I asked her, I was like, is it okay if I talk about this stuff because it's a little heavy? And she said, by all means, go ahead. And I said, oh, okay. And you know what shocked me? After I was done, she did the exact same thing. It wasn't one sided, it was a mutual moment of this is what shaped me. This is why I react the way I react. This is what I've been through. And instead of it being like a heavy, sad moment, it was a connecting moment. We bonded over this, and we laughed about certain parts. I like to just input jokes into a lot of trauma, so it worked out. So I realized something important, and it was that vulnerability isn't trauma dumping if it's reciprocal and intentional because it's honest. And for someone like me, whoever thinks whether I'm being selfish for moving on or whether I'm fully healed, being transparent up front felt super right. I'd rather someone know the real me early than fall for this polished, perfect version that I'm trying to put forward. Around, I want to say like 8 ish, when we were supposed to leave for the speakeasy, my sister and her boyfriend ended up bailing on the speakeasy plans. And that's why we ended up staying at the place for so long. And to be honest with you, it worked out perfect. It didn't cut our conversation because at that point, that was when all the deep connective talking was happening. So I didn't want to get up and leave. I was having a great time talking to her. But at that point, it was just us. No audience, no shift, just two people talking. And by 10 p.m., the conversation slowed a bit. It wasn't awkward. It was just like, that natural arc. Like the ice cream spot was closing, everybody was leaving. But I really didn't want it to end. So I took a little risk and I was like, I really want to keep talking to you. I was like, I really want to keep getting to know you tonight. So I asked her if she wanted to go get a drink anyway at this Irish pub nearby that I really liked. And she said yes. And that was huge because it wasn't like she felt obligated to go. She was like, "Do you want to go to a bar?" And I was like, "I know a perfect spot, you know?" So it seemed like she was enjoying it, and that made me super happy. So, like, the 5-minute drive from the ice cream spot to the bar, it was like pure joy all the way there. So, from 10:30 ish to midnight, we were at the pub, new environment, new vibe. It's a cool spot. I love the place. And it almost felt like a second date. It was like we got there and just a whole new line of stories and jokes started popping up. Like, she's genuinely super funny. And not like polite laugh funny. She was building bits. Like, we were having little bits, like comedic bits, and just escalating jokes, keeping them going. And it was great. And that matters to me more than people realize because I love to laugh. Humor is how I connect. I make jokes about literally everything. I joke about everything and I laugh at everything. Because humor is how I connect, I think her matching it so well, I realized something about myself, that I was present in that moment and I wasn't analyzing every word I said. I was just being me, and I wasn't replaying that mistake I made in the beginning. And I wasn't thinking about whether I was moving on too fast on this date. I was just there enjoying the moment and enjoying her and everything that she brought. And it just felt like huge growth because 6 months ago, I don't think I could have done that. Midnight rolls around. We start to leave because we're like, okay, we gotta get going. Like, she has roommates, she has to get home and not wake everybody up. So, it was quiet outside, and I didn't plan on kissing her. I didn't go into the night thinking I have to make this happen. But there's a difference between forcing a moment and recognizing one, and it just felt right. So we went outside. We were saying our goodbyes. There was just this moment of tension, and I did it, and it paid off. It wasn't dramatic at all. It was just a good, solid kiss, and it was mutual, and that's what made it good. Is that it felt like we both enjoyed it. And so driving home, I kept thinking about everything, the nerves, the embarrassment, the vulnerability, the trauma dumping my friends warned me about, and how none of it ruined anything. And if anything, it made it way better. Because the night wasn't perfect, it was imperfect. And maybe that's the whole lesson, that you don't need to be flawless, you just need to be honest. And now we have another date next weekend. She mentioned she likes collecting things. So I mentioned that there's a great flea market near my apartment, biggest in the state that I live in. So we're going there. And what's wild is I'm not spiraling. I'm so excited to see her again. So excited. Like, I feel like I'm a kid in a candy shop, dude. I just like, it's just a surreal feeling. It's weird. I know it's a second date, but it's just like, it just feels a little different than past first dates. So I'm just excited to see where it goes. I don't want to overthink or overreact. I'm still nervous, sure, but I think it's not my anxiety telling me I'm not ready anymore. It's just anticipation. Like, I want to be there. I want to see her, and I'm gonna keep making plans to see her until it happens. I just gotta make sure I keep my energy up and make sure that she knows I'm putting effort forward to be interested and keep going. So I think what this date taught me is that being late didn't ruin it, being vulnerable didn't ruin it, and being imperfect didn't ruin it. And if anything, those were the things that made the date real. And if someone's meant to connect with you, They're not gonna run because you showed up 10 minutes late or opened up about who you are. They'll lean in and they'll confront those with you. They'll confront that with you. And she did. So yeah, I almost did ruin it, but I didn't. And that's growth. So if anybody is listening and you've got a date coming up and you're terrified, you're probably going to be fine. And even if you mess up, that might be the exact thing that makes it real and honest. So we'll see how the flea market goes, and I will keep you guys updated.